All right, welcome everyone to today's webinar on service level management, how to monitor, manage, and measure your IT service delivery. My name is Scott Kalanico. I will be your host and master of ceremonies for today. With me presenting on the webinar is Len DiCostanzo, the Autotask Corporation Senior Vice President of Community and Business Development. You want to say hi, Len?
Hey, how you doing out there, everybody?
All right, thanks. What I'm going to do is close this poll now. And let me share it with everybody. So there's the results of the poll. Are you currently using service level agreements, SLAs, with your clients? Leader was, let's see, yes with some of our clients at 33%, no 25%. Oh, no, but we'd like to is actually the leader at 35%. And then we only had 8% say yes with all of our clients. So, Len, hopefully they'll give you something good to talk about there. So,
Yep.
we'll leave that there. Before we get started, I just want to do a couple of housekeeping chores. You'll see a question that you can answer as questions during the presentation. If you just type in your question there, I'll get it, and then we'll pass these along to Len during the presentation, and we'll also save about 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A at the end of the presentation today. So please feel free to be interactive, because that's what this is all about. And Len enjoys answering questions, don't you, Len?
Oh, I love it. Questions get you thinking, Scott, all the time.
Okay, excellent. So what we're going to do now, so we've got that poll there. I have to hide that, and then I will make, you are now in charge, Len.
There we go.
Okay. There you go.
You got me up there, Scotty?
Yep, you're there. And, okay, well, one other question, Len, just one little other housekeeping thing that somebody just asked, Daryl just asked, is asking us, will this be a recording of the webinar? Yes, this webinar is being recorded. You'll get an email probably in about a week or so with the URL where you can watch this at MSP Business Management. It's mspbusinessmanagement.com. But you'll get the complete URL in that email. Alrighty, Len, go ahead and take it away, sir.
Great, Scott. Thanks a lot for bringing me on today, and I'm very happy to share the topic, service level management, how to monitor, manage, and measure your IT service delivery. I am Len DiCostanzo, Senior Vice President of Community and Business Development here at Autotask, and always like to work with Scott and the folks at GFI Max. We have a fantastic partnership, and I'm sure if there's any joint customers out there, you all know we work very well together, and hopefully today you'll get some content that'll help you move your business forward and maybe consider Autotask and or GFI Max if you don't have either one of our products. But at the same time, we're really just hoping that we can help you run your business better. So to help you get there, we'll definitely have to give a brief Autotask overview and get you to see where Autotask is and what we're about. We'll get right into our content and our topic on service level management. And I'll leave you with some next steps, and Scott will come on and wrap up, and we'll jump into a question and answer session. But again, I think Scott mentioned, feel free to pop in a question during the session. Don't mind answering it, and if we don't, we'll just get them all at the end. So a little bit about Autotask. We are all about service automation. We start with our CRM, built-in CRM, an integrated, actually, IT business management platform that starts with our CRM for sales and marketing, build your pipeline using our marketing tools and capabilities to drive people to a website, perhaps download a white paper, and then jump right into a quote and build your sales pipeline and manage it. And typically, you're out there as a managed service provider using GFI Max. You definitely have to pick up a new client and clean that environment up, perhaps a remediation engagement. Maybe it's a new network for a new client, and you certainly could use our project management module to manage the project to profitability. And once you're done with that project, you move into that support role, use our service desk module, nice integration with GFI Max, where you're now supporting your client with a recurrent service contract or a managed service contract, time and material billing, whatever type of billing relationship you have with your client available through service desk, and time and expense collected for projects and tickets. Even if you have a flat fee contract, you still want to collect your time and expense and take a look at your profitability across that flat fee contract. And certainly if you're billing time and material, you'll definitely understand profitability in that world as well. So contracts and billing, a key component of Autotask. as you're collecting time and expense against projects and tickets, and our built-in knowledge base as well. And I listed that because I do say with Autotask you can replace multiple applications with one integrated solution, and you could have different applications for each of these components. And in fact, with Autotask, they're all built in one spot. We help you build your network through a couple of collaborative tools inside Autotask, ticket sharing, a client portal. We've got Taskfire that helps you work with internal IT resources and tethers to your Autotask, and a built-in outsourcing module to work with your peers, and our online community, over 50,000 members in the community right now, trading best practices and sharing work, and you can do that too. So Autotask is the world's #1 provider of cloud-based IT business management software since 2001. We're built from the ground up to be in the cloud, so you know that we understand what being in the cloud is all about, and that's availability. We approach 4 nines. We've got multiple data centers that have invested millions of dollars in our data centers to host our solution. And we're open on the front end, browser independence. You can use any browser that you'd like. We don't have a fat client. There's nothing that you have to download. Again, right from your browser, from anywhere, you can access and use Autotask across the organization, executives, sales reps, whether you're billable resources or not, use Autotask to help manage and run the business better. We're open in the middle, configurable for your business processes. We're not going to force a particular way of business upon you. A lot of automation built into Autotask, but you can also configure a lot of automation workflow rules. We'll talk about that in a second. We are certainly open on the back end as well with integrations across the wide range of solutions that you guys are all using. Certainly GFI Max, one of our top integrations, but all of those tools you're using out there most likely integrated in with Autotask, and if it's not, we've got world-class APIs that make that happen. And we're all about education, as you can see with today's session. We're going to share some fantastic content, over 40 live webinars and workshops per month, both on the Autotask product and how to get the most out of it, as well as business building content like this, and over 120 on-demand training videos available on our YouTube channel inside of Autotask as well, with boot camps and road shows around the globe on a pretty constant basis. So that gets us to our topic here, service level management, how to monitor, manage, and measure your IT service delivery. And our goal today is to jumpstart and validate your efforts to do just that, and that's monitor, manage, and measure your IT service delivery. And I say jumpstart because maybe you're just getting rolling, so a lot of you, over 40%, really haven't taken the initiative to put your clients in an SLA, a service level agreement, so hopefully we can jumpstart you. For those of you that have made the move, we'll help you validate your efforts and hopefully share a couple of key tidbits of information that you can use to enhance your offering. And more importantly, guys, if you're out there and you don't really hear, or actually if you don't hear something that you're doing, you can share it through the chat box as well. So give back to the community yourself, and we'll all be better off for it. So to achieve our goal, we'll share a few insights. First off, we'll talk about what is service level management. You'll see SLM abbreviated throughout the session. Has a lot of words to type, and I just wanted to use SLM, makes it easy. Once we talk about service level management and what it is, we really want to understand why it's important to you and to your clients. And once we get rolling, we're going to talk about a couple of key service level management initiatives, and that's defining your services bundles and your SLAs and what the keys are to defining those. And we'll talk about automation and how it makes service level management happen, and again leave you with those next step actions for your consideration. So service level management, what is it? Well, what I always like to say, it's part of the master plan to align business and technology. And as you're out there as solution providers, service providers, managed service providers, whatever you might call yourself, you cannot sell technology solutions to your clients if the business doesn't need it. So the ultimate alignment is all about understanding the needs of your client and what it is that you can bring to the table to help them run their business better. They don't want to hear about all the blinky lights. They just want to know that you're going to help their business run better. And more importantly, not only the client relationship that you have to have, understand their business and solving problems with technology, but even inside your own business. What are your capabilities? what can you deliver today, how can you improve what you deliver today, and move into the next phase of your move into managed services, or your move into the next level of being a fantastic IT service provider. And it all starts with defining those services, those IT services you deliver to meet the needs of your client, and setting the service levels that go along with that particular service. So, for example, if you're monitoring a network, what will your response time be if you get an alert from the GFI Max solution? What are you going to do, and what's your reaction time going to be? And more importantly, patch management, security. What are you doing to keep that software up to date and current? So set your service level, set your response windows, all the metrics tied to your services, define them, and that's really what drives service level management. Because once you have those services defined and your service levels define, the metrics around service delivery, you can now monitor, manage, and measure your performance, and ultimately act on the results and continually improve your service delivery. So when I say part of the master plan, it really begins here, where you take a look at your business, at what you're doing, and try to understand if, in fact, you've got the services defined, that you, in fact, can track against those services, track the key metrics against the services delivered, and always improve what you're doing. And that's really the essence of service level management. So why is service level management important to you? Well, number one, it helps you determine if you have the right tools. How does it help you do that? Because, again, it's a master plan. You're going to take a look at your business. You're going to understand how you deliver in service now and how you can improve it. You've obviously made a decision to either use GFI Max or Autotask. Maybe you're using a couple of other tools out there, but that only comes with you taking a look at your business and understanding where you're at right now and kind of understanding where you want to go and how to get there. So you have to have the right tools. And once you have the right tools, now you got to integrate your people and the tools and establish the service processes and goals that really will drive your business forward, that'll keep your clients happy. So you have the tools in place, the processes in place, and now you're different from the competition. I certainly remember, and maybe a little bit about myself here, but I was a solution provider for 20 years before joining Autotask in 2008. Grew my business to about 40 or so employees, and sold in 2002. And one of the key things that we used to take out on any of our sales calls was a process document, and we would share with folks how we in fact deliver against incident management or change management. And really, if you're out there with your processes defined and the goals and metrics around service delivery, you are going to be different from the competition, and the client's going to look at you right out of the gate as a burgeoning trusted advisor, someone who's going to understand their needs and take them to the next level in their business. And that's key. And not only that, if they see you that way from the beginning, service level management's real important. Because of continual service improvement, you'll continually improve service delivery, not only from the standpoint of your client, but internal, and your organization will see that. Because once you define a process and a service delivery goal, you'll see if you're meeting that goal, and if you're not, you will improve your service. And if you in fact are meeting your goals, you're definitely going to look to figure out a way to improve it even more, perhaps come up with a new and innovative service. But the key is, as you're moving through the service level management initiative, you're going to capture more business and more profitable revenue, because again, you're just going to be tighter, you're going to be optimized, and more importantly, with the right tools, you're probably going to be automated and able to scale service delivery to a new level. So why is service level management important to your clients? It's one thing to be important to you, but again, you're selling to clients, right? And clients need to feel special with your service level management initiative, and it's not necessarily true that you got to go out and tell them you have an SLM initiative going. Just do it by your actions, because ultimately it's important to clients because you're going to meet their business needs. They don't have to know you got service level management in your brain. They just have to know that you're solving their business challenges and their business needs and wants. And more importantly, you're managing their expectations. They know where you're going. They know how long a service is going to take. They know how long you're going to respond. And ultimately, they want to access more of your services. And we're going to talk about defining your services and make it easy to access those services. But bottom line is, if you're meeting their needs and managing expectations, they're going to want more of your services, and you're going to have to make it easy to access so that they can buy more services without really putting you guys through some churn and perhaps picking services off a menu, and they'll understand why they need that service. Perhaps you have a service called a new hire desktop rollout or a new mobile device rollout, and they understand what that is. So make it easy to access services, and ultimately when they buy those services and they understand the metrics and the goals around the service, they're going to know that you did what you said. And ultimately that confirmation that you've delivered what you said you would deliver will give them a tremendous amount of confidence that you're going to do it again, and more importantly, they know through your service level management initiative that you will improve service delivery, and that's always important to clients. I certainly remember hearing from my clients that they were very happy we were growing, because for a while, maybe early in your development, it's hard to grow, it's tough to grow, and your own employees and your own clients will wonder what's going on. So continue to grow, continue to improve service delivery, and you'll keep those clients around for a pretty long time, and it's all based on having a really solid service level management initiative. So how do you know you need service level management? Well, maybe you're not sure you're delivering what your clients need. And of course, how do you know that? Well, you definitely got to go out and start speaking to your clients. You have to understand their needs and define the services that meet those needs. And if you're engaged in that kind of a process, you're going to understand what your clients need. And more importantly, if you're not delivering what your clients need, maybe they're starting to go away and you're wondering why. And maybe you can point to the fact that you've got to understand that client base just a little bit more. So keep your eye on the base and push out some surveys and make sure you're understanding what they need so you can keep them for life. And maybe you can't see how to scale your business. How are you going to pick up 20 new clients this year and you only have X number of resources? Do you have to hire some folks? Well, if you can't see how to scale your business, you need a service level management initiative. It'll get you started in the right spot, taking a look from the top down, and again, make you understand the tools you have in place and maybe the tools that you need going forward in order to scale your business. Perhaps you have no easy way to set, track, and report on service metrics. Over 60% of you, if I remember the number, had not yet put your clients on service level agreements. One of the key things in service level agreements is response window, and I often will ask the same polling question in a live audience, and if there are folks out there that say they do have service level agreements and response windows, invariably many of them do not have the right tool in place to help them deliver on that response window, and they ultimately end up responding in that break-fix kind of mode of I must answer right now or I will lose this client. And in fact, if you let them know you'd respond in 2 hours and you responded in 2 hours, again, you manage their expectation, and now if you have the right tools in place, you're able to track and see that you in fact responded in 2 hours, and it'll let them know that you did exactly what you said. Another key thing is having difficulty justifying your value to clients. If you do not understand how to justify your value to your clients, if you're getting questions or even jokes about, you know, why do I have to pay this bill? What have you done for me? I don't see you. Perhaps you're working remotely. Perhaps you don't have to visit on site using GFI Max, using Autotask Client Portal, using remote control. Well, you're going to have difficulty justifying your value to your clients. And again, that's key to understanding that you need a service level management initiative so you can get right on it and understand there are tools out there that are going to let you justify your value to your clients on a consistent and regular basis. And of course, if it's difficult to find, onboard, and retain clients, then you probably need a service level management initiative. And that may come with the fact that, again, you're going to understand the business needs a little bit better, align technology solutions to what they need you to do for them, and more importantly, deliver the services that they expect, and again, continually improve. So if you're having difficulty to finding, onboarding, and retaining clients, get involved with a service level management initiative and get started right from the top. And if you're not getting led from the top, and perhaps I always like to say if you're a one-man band, well, then you can chat with yourself. But more importantly, as you're growing that organization, or if you're a larger organization, establish that team of stakeholders, those key folks that are going to help you get started with the service level management initiative. It can start from the ground up, but you definitely have to get that buy-in from the top, that you got to take a look at your business, you got to take a look at your service delivery capabilities, and get rolling with your service level management initiative, again, to continually grow your business and keep your clients happy and keep them for life. That's always a good goal to have, is to never lose a client, because when you do lose one, you're going to ask yourself a lot of questions. So how do you get started with service level management? Well, I'm going to start from the end game. The end game is you have an automated integrated service delivery platform, and then we'll go into how you get there. So let's take a look at an automated integrated service delivery platform. And right here, we're going to talk about incident management, which really all starts with event management. You're out there using GFI Max, and an event happens on a server or a workstation. You get that alert, something's up, you need to create a ticket and go to work and launch the incident management process. Or if you're not necessarily getting an alert, perhaps you're using the Autotask client portal, and one of your end users is making a service request using the portal. Perhaps they're sending you an email, and using the Autotask email parser, that email will result in a ticket being opened inside of Autotask. Or even if you're just picking up that phone with a user call, now you've triaged that event, you understand it's an incident, and more importantly, you've automatically got a ticket created inside Autotask. That GFI Max alert automatically opens a ticket. As I mentioned before, now you're opening that ticket and you're working, and all that information from the alert built right into the ticket. And with Autotask, even if it's a user call in less than 2 clicks, you've got a ticket open. You can create ticket favorites and really make it easy and quick and automated to open up a ticket and begin to work that ticket. And that's when automation really takes effect. Automatically assign resources, send notifications out to your client that you received their service request, or that you've got that alert that something's up with the server, and now you're working that ticket, perhaps hitting the live link on the ticket, taking remote control using GFI Max, and now you're working hard on the ticket. And more importantly, once that ticket's opened, if you've got that response window of 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever it may be based on the device or the user calling, the SLA clock is ticking, and as soon as you're working that ticket, you can now make that timestamp that, in fact, you did meet your SLA, and now you complete the ticket, and an automatic survey can be sent out and gather feedback from your end client on that service delivery engagement, and now you've really completed it by capturing your time and expense against the ticket. Again, multiple billing relationships built inside of Autotask, the typical ones you're having with your client, a managed service contract, block hours, retainer, and all that time and expense gathered against the ticket. And now you're able to take a look at profitability as you create invoices and hand them off to your accounting system. Those reports come in that now you're going to use to show your client that you did what you said. The key here is all automated, right from GFI Max all the way through working that ticket on a hands-on level, and now you're inside Autotask, closing out that ticket, and all leads to profitability. And that's a nice integrated platform that really takes your incident management process to the next level. And with Autotask and GFI Max, there is that nice integration, a wizard-based setup, no additional cost. All of the assets discovered by GFI Max brought into the Autotask configuration management database, round-trip ticket exchange. You open up that ticket in Autotask. If you complete it in Autotask, it'll automatically turn that alert off in GFI Max, and you can take remote control right off the ticket and no additional cost. So the key here again is a nice integrated platform that makes it easy to execute on the incident management process and any other process that you have out there. So the key again, find products and vendor partners that work together, and certainly Autotask and GFI Max bring that to you. So how do you get to that automated integrated platform? Well, first you got to go out there and define your services, put those services in a bundle, and more importantly, start right at the top. Define and productize your service. Just like you buy a server and you understand the speeds and feeds, define your services. Hey, I'm going to deliver service desk. I'm going to respond in 2 hours, and if I can't resolve that issue, I'm going to let you know how long it's going to take me to resolve it. I'm going to let you know within this time frame I'm coming on site. So define, productize those services, establish the metrics around that service. Again, I'm talking very specifically response window quite a bit, but even on your patch management process, are you doing it every day? Are you doing it at night? Are you doing it on the weekends? How long is it going to take? Will any devices be down for any number of minutes or whatever it may take as you're providing an update to a system? But establish the service levels and then put that all together in a nice, neat service level agreement that we'll touch on a little bit more in a couple of slides here, but develop that agreement that makes your client understand the services you're delivering, the metrics around it, and what, in fact, you're going to do to show that you did, in fact, do what you said. And now that you've got your service level agreements, you've got your services defined, create a nice, easy-to-view client-facing catalog, whether it's a handout, whether it's an electronic document, and whether or not you go out and perhaps find a quoting partner that integrates with Autotask and GFI Max, and they have a storefront right there for you to use that takes the services you define and presents it nice and easy to your client to go and pick the services that they want. Just make it easy for them to buy those services that you've taken the time to define and put metrics around. And now monitor, manage, measure, improve. Those are the keys to your service delivery right now in a service level management initiative. You just can't do things the same way and expect different results. So continue to monitor what you're doing in your service delivery mode, get that feedback from your client, and always look to improve your services, even down to how long it takes to deliver a service, because if you define a service that's supposed to take 2 hours and it's supposed to be with this type of an engineer who typically costs you X dollars an hour, if that service is taking you 3 hours, well, then you're not going to be profitable if you priced it based on taking you 2 hours. So not only monitoring from your client side that the service was in fact delivered, but internally as well to understand if your services are profitable and continue to improve and certainly make yourself a little bit more profitable through that process. So we talk about productizing your service and bundling. What does that really mean? Well, here you see a service desk, and I just put SKU on as a product ID. But here's my service desk bundle, and what I'm going to show here now are all the component services or the services from my IT service portfolio that belong in that bundle. So Client Portal, for example, has a SKU, and maybe that's the Autotask Client Portal, but part of that service desk is they get to use the portal. They get level 1 remote support when they pick up the phone and call you, or perhaps when a ticket it comes in through the portal or through a GFI Max alert, you're going to get that level 1 remote support. And if you can't solve it at level 1, there's an escalation service. And what is the key again as you define a service? How do you call escalation a service? Well, if you define that escalation means, hey, if I can't solve the problem, we're going to get it over to a level 2 who's going to give you a shout or take remote control of the device and try to fix it that way. And the next level of escalation said if we don't resolve that issue within 4 hours, we're going to have a guy on site, next business day to resolve the incident. And of course, monthly reporting that goes along with the service desk and what that process is behind monthly reporting. Are you emailing it? Is it coming on the last day of the month? Are you coming on site to deliver it? The key is to define a bundle and all the services that go with it so your client understands what services they're buying, and of course their expectations become managed with a clear definition of the services that they're going to buy. So when you take a look at that service desk bundle, now we've got to look at some of the key metrics, and we've been chatting about them just a little bit in the beginning of our session here, but key is response time. How long before you respond? If you get that alert and it's a server, you might want to respond immediately, and if that's part of what you say, then you have to actually deliver. And the key is there are 3 metrics that you follow in a service desk best practice: response time, resolution plan, and resolution time. Now, client-facing, you may promise a response time. You may, in fact, promise a resolution plan, meaning, hey, I've responded. I can't fix this issue. It's now in escalation, but let's say the server motherboard goes down. I'm going to have a plan for you within 3 hours how I'm going to get that server back up and running. and maybe resolution time being a key third metric, it might be something you want to tell your client, but it's always hard to tell a client how long it's going to take to resolve an incident or get a server up and running. But you definitely can set a metric internally, and maybe over time you're going to understand, oh, gee, I get my servers back up and running typically within 8 hours, and maybe one day you can charge just a little bit more because you can always tell your client what a resolution time is going to be, and in fact, how long are they going to be down. And maybe it's very simple. Maybe you've got a spare desktop or a spare server, and you can have it up and running in 2 hours, and maybe you've got a redundant server. The key is have the tools in place that allow you to hit your metrics and manage to those metrics. And Scotty, any questions out there so far?
I think everybody's a little mesmerized by the presentation there, Len, but it's been a little bit quiet here. But we did get a couple of questions on pricing, which I know I've posted a link to the last webinar we did with you guys about pricing your SLAs. So I'm prompting everybody. So no questions yet, nothing burning. But one kind of semi-tech question, but Autotask does work across all browsers. That's correct?
Well, I guess unless there's some obscure browser, but
okay.
essentially all the primary browsers that we're aware of that are out there in the industry right now, yes, browser independence was a key initiative and investment for us over the last year, and we know people have moved from Internet Explorer to Safari to wherever it may be, so that would be a yes then, Scott.
Okay, yeah, well, why don't you just keep rolling there, Len. I've posted a couple of links to some general articles about SLAs and service level agreements and metrics on our MSP Business Management website. You can see in the chat window. Okay, we've got some questions rolling in now, Len. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, keep those questions rolling in, and I guess if you want to keep going there, Len, and then we'll get all of these at the end.
Definitely. So we talked about Service Desk. We talked about metrics for Service Desk. But now I just want to share a couple of other bundles, certainly that you can build using GFI Max in concert with Autotask. And you see in the lower right corner the Service Desk bundle. But you've got asset management, software management, security, patch management, maintenance. These are typical bundles, and I've gotten questions like, gee, Len, why do I need 6 bundles? Can't I just make one? And really, it's up to you how you want to do it. The key for me is if I'm going to make a bundle here, let's just say patch management bundle, it might be my foot in the door, a lower cost option. I'll go into a larger account with a patch management solution. Maybe my client hasn't invested in a GFI Max solution, and now you can use GFI Max to get your foot in the door, deliver patch management, and now that they like what you're doing and they don't have to do it because they don't want to buy the tool and they just want to focus on bigger things, you now got some confidence through patch management. Now maybe you move into asset management where you're now discovering all the devices and monitoring. And again, it's up to you how you want to approach it. And here are just some typical service bundles that ultimately you can define and should define in your Autotask, in your professional service automation solution, and not only define the services, but the period or frequency of billing, whether it's monthly, yearly, or quarterly, tied to your managed service contract, what's the cost, what's the price of that service, and inside Autotask you can now select from this service menu, this service catalog, and produce a quote, and then tie the services that you sold to your client, and attach them to a contract, and begin to track your time against that contract, again, ultimately understanding if you're profitable or not. And I do always ask a question, how many of you out there are charging a flat fee for your managed service contract in an all-you-can-eat type of a format? And I always get a bunch of folks who raise their hand, and I always caution about all-you-can-eat, because all-you-can-eat is a lot, and in fact, if you tell everyone it's all-you-can-eat, they're going to wonder why they're going to get a bill from you for something else. So manage expectations by defining your services, defining the bundles, and then putting the services you're going to deliver tied to the price you're going to charge them, and say, this is what I'm charging you for, and these are the a la carte or other services that you will be billed for if you select them and if you need them. For example, you might have all your bundles on your managed service contract, but if they hire a new person and you're going to have a desktop rollout, you better have a separate charge for that. Otherwise, they're going to think it's included. So again, clearly define your services and what's included on your agreements. And here we'll touch a little bit on service level agreements. And again, always on alignment here, the service level agreements are based on your client business needs and requirements. And you clearly have to document those very services you've defined. And we talked about a couple of key services. And we also touched a little bit on what services ought to be performed under the agreement or what services are not going to be performed. So be very clear, manage those expectations. Don't set yourself up to be accused of nickel and diming anybody, but clearly define the services. Typically under an all-you-can-eat contract, you're going to define services that you can control the parameters around. For example, if you go in and charge a fixed fee to manage a particular network environment, yet you don't lock down that environment and your client now has free reign to update their computer, install software, install a printer, and call you up whenever there's a problem, well then you've actually gone against what you should be doing. And that's clean that environment up, lock it down, take control, and then you can charge a flat fee because you've now got control of that environment. If they don't let you lock it down and they don't let you control it, but they'll let you monitor and they'll let you deliver patch management, then perhaps you have a hybrid type of a service level agreement where you charge them the flat fee for services you can control, but you do charge them separately, perhaps for an on-site visit, even if you pick up the phone and take remote control. So key again, define the services that you're going to deliver and for what price, and who, what, when, and where are you going to service or deliver these services. Are you going to service the CEO out of their home? Are you going to service an engineer or any of their resources when they're on the road somewhere? So again, key to define all the parameters of your service delivery to meet the needs of your client. And if you understand the client, for example, that they have traveling reps on the road, then you'll build into your service level agreement that wherever they are, you're going to help them out. We used to have a 24-hour hot swap program for sales teams, so we always tried to understand the very specific nuances of the different groups and departments in our client, and in fact tweak an SLA on a department-by-department basis. And again, that's the key. Define the services and who's going to be serviced in that particular fashion, and show them the reports that you're going to deliver on a consistent, perhaps monthly, quarterly basis, where you're going to show your performance against the metrics you provide. And I always share that you should offer something if your promised service levels aren't met. Most people will give a discount or a rebate perhaps on a previous bill. I might offer a new service so I don't reduce my bill, but I might give them the next free mobile setup, for example, or the next desktop setup for free. So promise something if service levels are met. Show them that you're serious. Show them that the money you're asking for them every month is important to you and has some value. But ultimately, to me, a service level agreement is like a prenuptial agreement. Build in some termination wording. Let them know that if it doesn't work out, you're going to give them all their asset information, some key reports. They can take it to the next vendor. In fact, maybe you'll even help them go find another provider that might use the similar tools so they don't have to rip and replace. The key is have a termination wording section and have a ramp down period. Maybe they're not paying you. Maybe they're just a bad client, or maybe they want to move on. Have some termination wording. And of course, in terms of service level agreements, maybe very specifically on response window or what's covered and what's not, offer a choice of services, but not too many. Don't make it too complex. And of course, at the end of the day, you're trying to build business value. And what service level agreements do for you is get your clients to sign on the dotted line. And once they sign on that dotted line, especially, of course, if it's a recurring revenue agreement, you're building business value. One of the key things for me as I grew my business, I had to learn it's not all on a handshake. You need agreements for someone to want to buy you or to see your value or to go to a bank and get some money. So the key result for you as a business owner with service level agreements is building business value. So Scott mentioned some pricing. So I do have what I like to, I guess, call a range of pricing that I've seen out there working with our Autotask and GFI Max partners. And even with the range of pricing here, I'll share some caveats. But on your standard desktop, and again, I don't advocate per machine or per device pricing. In fact, when I priced my managed services, or at the time it wasn't called managed services, it wasn't around, late 90s, I just called it a recurring service delivery model. In fact, I charged $200 per user to be the IT department for my clients while delivering very similar services that you see here. I'm just giving you an example that you might see around desktops, but certainly on a per-user basis. If you understand the cost and sell price for servicing a desktop, for servicing a mobile device, for servicing a printer, well then in fact you can combine those prices into one price and come up with a price per user. And Scott mentioned we did do a pricing webinar not too long ago, and if you take a look at that, we actually walk through in a pretty detailed way how you can price your managed services and of course all your services. So right here, typically there's an opening offer, a standard offer, and you might include a bunch of services, a bunch of service bundles, just like we described earlier. And as you move into the enhanced mode, perhaps you provide a 1-hour response, maybe on that desktop model, that basic one, it's next business day. You move up into 1-hour response, and then when you get to that IT department level, you're charging your top per desktop or per user. And in fact, you're going to come on site in 4 hours and provide other high-end options, because now you are the IT department, and you want that client to feel like you are there just as if they had their own resources. So make sure you charge correctly for it. Those are price ranges I've heard, but on the IT department side, like I said, I was charging per user. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Len, we had a question about that from Richard. On those prices right there, he's asking, are those per year or per month?
Oh, these are per month per device.
Okay,
so,
per month per device. All right.
Per month per device, and if they go into that pricing webinar, Scott, what they'll see is we actually go through how to arrive at this desktop pricing, and we kind of highlight understand your cost, because if you understand your cost to service a desktop, you understand your cost to service a printer, service a router, whatever it may be, you can combine those costs and then mark it up into the level of profit that you want to achieve. So, after doing this webinar, sometimes I'll have folks go, yeah, Len told me to charge $55 to $100 for my enhanced package. So I just want to, highlight again, guys, I'm not telling you what to price. If you look at that standard desktop SLA at $35, I've actually seen that package for $20 a machine, because in a market in a small town in Florida or Michigan, perhaps the market can't afford $35 a seat, and they got to sell it at $20. Well, what does that mean? Again, in that pricing session, you'll see what it means. What it means is you better pick up a bunch of those devices to offset the cost, because the more devices you pick up, and we talked about scaling through service level management initiative, and that's looking at your tools. If you can scale with automation, what ends up happening in a pricing model for any of these SLAs, the more machines you add, the more cost is taken out of the model, and in fact, it reduces your cost of service delivery. So again, understand how to price before you go out and build a bundle, build an SLA, and put pricing together for it. Understand your costs and check out that pricing webinar to help you do that. And once, of course, you've got those services defined, and as I said in Autotask, you can quote those services. Now you got to put them into a contract. So you've got your agreement with your client in place right inside Autotask. You can define the contract, and throughout the life of that contract, understand all of the costs against it, and if in fact you're profitable. And this is a great way to understand if those flat fee contracts, most of you are out there delivering because that's what folks are suggesting you do. Now you got to go and see if you're profitable, and while you might not be able to change your price mid-year, hopefully you're building in a price increase into your service level agreement so that at least at the end of the year you can change your price. But more importantly, if you're seeing you're not profitable on a particular contract with an existing client, maybe that next new client you pick up, you're going to adjust the pricing on that contract. So again, that continual service improvement It's not only just about service delivery and did your engineer deliver the right service and did the end user like it, but improving service delivery right here, making sure you're profitable, because that's why you're in business, to generate some profit, put some money in your pocket. One of the key things now is you have your contract in place. I mentioned quite a bit to manage expectation and include services that you're going to deliver for a price, but make sure they know what services you don't deliver. And inside Autotask, you can set SLA exclusions and limits. And in fact, as you're delivering service and putting time against an agreement, you're going to see if that service is included or not. And of course, it will help you to generate revenue, because you're not going to put a service against a contract and not charge for it when in fact you should. And here you see a little bit of our service level agreement feature built into Autotask, where you can define the hours that you work, or define the service level agreement name, put the goals in. You're going to meet your 2-hour response window 90% of the time, and then the granularity built into Autotask by priority, issue type, sub-issue type, what's your first response, resolution plan, and resolved within. So nice, easy way to take your response windows, your service levels, and put them into Autotask, so that in fact Autotask will help you understand what ticket, what service you have to work next. And it all starts with creating a ticket. You're going to take that ticket, and of course, if it's an alert from GFI, it's automatically created with all the info, with the device, with the SLA that's tied to that device, happening automatically. And right here you see that SLA and the due date and the due time and the issue and sub-issue type. Right here on an Autotask ticket, you can assign multiple resources to a ticket, and the assignment, of course, will hit off some of those automation rules and perhaps notify the engineers they've been assigned the work, and even let your client know which engineers taken this ticket or this service request under their wing. Here's the configuration item. So if it's an alert from GFI Max, you're going to see the serial number and whatever information you've got for that device right here, and of course the contract and billing that this ticket is tied to. So once that ticket's created, you've got the SLA data put into Autotask, you've defined that service. Now when that ticket comes in, automation drives your priority, not your clients. If you're in that break-fix model right now and you want to move to managed services, one of the key things that you have to do is promise a response window. And in fact, if you want to answer immediately, then I'd be charging for that. But if you give yourself that 2-hour window to finish what you're doing right now and get to this new incident within 2 hours and everybody's happy, because that's what you're promised, then automation is helping you just a little bit, be a little bit more organized in service delivery, and you're not going to stop what you're doing right now to pick up this hot phone call that you got to help somebody. I mean, you can make that choice, but right here, the key to moving from break-fix to managed services are your SLAs, are your response windows, and charging for it. And right here, now you've got that ticket. You understand what's your next ticket to work. Inside of Autotask, a real-time workload utilization screen that's going to come up and tell you who's overbooked, who's underbooked, and in fact, what's the best resource that you can assign to this particular ticket. And in fact, inside Autotask is a skills capability as well. If you need a Microsoft certified engineer or a Cisco certified, you can make that definition in Autotask and find that right resource to handle this particular job if in fact you're a larger organization. And once you've picked the resource, we have a dispatcher workshop that lets you drag and drop tickets right onto a calendar built inside Autotask that is integrated on the back end with your Microsoft Exchange or your Outlook calendar, and you'll never double book or overbook a particular resource. And more importantly, you get a nice quick view of where your team is this week, whether it's to service a ticket or just an appointment inside their Outlook calendar. You'll see it both here inside Autotask and also inside of your Outlook calendar and email. And right here we mentioned services and whether they're included or not. As you're putting your time in, you get some validation on the service that you delivered if in fact it's covered under this particular contract. And more importantly, check if you hit your service levels, because typically when you put that time entry in, you're changing the status of your ticket. When you change the status of your ticket, that could signify that you've met your first response. So again, nice couple quick, easy ways to put your time in, understand if you hit your service levels, and if in fact you're delivering a service that's covered under that particular service agreement. So we've gone through our SLAs, and now let's talk a little bit about workflow automation rules built inside Autotask. You really have an opportunity to automate quite a bit and have Autotask execute work so you don't have to, and that's really key. And again, GFI Max brings that to the table for you every day, as of course monitoring's happening. Anything that you're doing, the key is automation. So we've built that into Autotask. So for example, if you've provided a 4-hour response window, you might set Autotask up to shoot you out a notification at 2 hours before. If you've got a 4-hour response and you're 2 hours away, maybe you want to be poked. Perhaps if you're 30 minutes before missing your SLA, you want the manager to get poked. And again, any kinds of workflow rules you can consider against tickets can be built inside Autotask. So for example, when this ticket's completed, email a survey out. One of the key components of service level management is understanding if your service delivery was right, and you might as well get that survey out automatically so you don't even have to think about it. So the key is workflow automation rules, execute work so you don't have to, and it's configurable for your processes so that we're not forcing any particular type of work on you. And now that you've gone through some of these key areas of service level management, one of the final things you've got to do is show your client that you've in fact delivered what you said, and you better have those great reports for scheduled reviews. And combining GFI Max reports and Autotask, there's no doubt that you're going to be able to show them exactly what you did, and in fact that you did what you said. And right here you see ticket distribution by priority, by average resolution time. You've got some of the high issue, sub-issue types, high issue counts, so you're going to know some of those frequent flyers, whether it's a particular device that continues to go down or a particular user that continues to call you. And more importantly, not only do you have those kinds of reports that give you great data, but right here, if you promised a 2-hour response window, right here you've got a fantastic report, comes right out of Autotask, showing with those green check marks that in fact you did what you said and you met your service level agreement, and that red X shows where you didn't. Bottom line, use these reports for what I like to call monthly operational reviews or MORE meetings, MOR, nice acronym that I always enjoyed, because when I would go let my client know we did what we said through a report like this, I called it a MORE meeting. I would go in and tell them, here's what I did last month, here's what I'm going to do next month, and always the goal is get more work. That's why I called them MORE meetings. So again, validate that you did what you said, and your client's going to love you forever and continue to work with you. And if you don't know if they love you, right here inside Autotask, built-in surveys, you send out a survey to a particular contact, they fill it out, it rolls up to the account level, multiple contacts fill out multiple surveys, and you'll understand how the contact feels about you, you'll understand how the account feels about you as those surveys are rolled up at the account level. And really the nice key thing is the engineer or the billable resource that delivered that service also gets a rating. And now you've got an opportunity, as I've heard from our Autotask clients continually, as they use this as part of the compensation of an engineer if they're getting good survey results or not. So very key feature here. And again, from what I hear from our customers, probably one of the key features now that they've made use of it. And we also have benchmarks built into Autotask, again, as a hosted platform. We've got over 50,000 users every day in our product, and we've got benchmark surveys built in. So as soon as one of those clients, one of those users sends out a survey, they've opted in to our benchmark survey, and you've got on-site survey and a remote service delivery survey, and those two surveys are in the benchmark program. And as your client answers the survey, you're going to see your rating for that particular incident, on-site incident, excuse me. Then you're going to see how you compare against the network average, all the folks in using Autotask who've taken advantage of this on-site service survey, the on-site service delivery benchmark, and of course you'll see the network average. And now again, a great selling tool, are you best in class? And it's also a continual improvement tool. What do you need to do to close the gap between you and the top guy in the network? So right there, we've kind of completed the cycle of how to monitor, manage, measure your IT service delivery through a service level management initiative. I really just want to close by sharing with you, I always had a goal of keeping a client for life, and I always ask out there how many folks are in business 20 years, 15 years, and have had clients for as long as you're in business, and a lot of folks are always raising their hands, so I know it resonates out there well. I'd rather keep a client than lose a client, and it all starts at the sales side. Be very consultative in your approach. Begin to understand their needs. Let them talk. Do a lot of listening, and use the Autotask CRM to capture all that information, produce a quote, and win that remediation engagement, that network upgrade, and use the project module built inside Autotask to show them that you've taken them right from that consultative sales side where they began to respect you and see you as someone different. Now you deliver that solution in a successful manner, and of course moving into that support role, you've now got another opportunity to show you're trustworthy, to show that you are what you say you are and you do what you say you're going to do, and ultimately ascend into that trusted advisor role using some of the other capabilities of Autotask and GFI Max in combination to become that trusted advisor, that IT department for SMBs, and perhaps a supplemental component of a larger IT department. And that will happen over and over in a given year as you have your monthly meetings, then your quarterly meetings, and by the third quarter, you're planning your client's technology budget for next year, and in fact, your own revenue budget for next year, and dropping those projects in, and work these 4 stages and continue to keep your client for life. And let's see how you can get that into your fabric of your business, into what you believe. So start out by implementing an IT business platform and automation tools like GFI Max, and integrate them to ensure success with your service level management initiative. And then make sure you define your services, a catalog of profitable IT services that you're going to deliver to meet your business needs, and then set the benchmark, set the service levels, monitor and measure your performance against the metrics, against your services, and then act on the results. Make sure that you've got those services being delivered in a proper fashion, and if you're not sure what your clients are thinking, survey them for feedback, and always use it for continual service improvement. So with that, I just want to share that if you've got any interest in Autotask here, new customer opportunity, $1,000 voucher and up to 50% off implementation. And that's if you sign before December 31st. And I will tell you, it is November 29th, and I know my sales team wants to make some sales before the end of November. So if you're really interested, shoot me an email today, because I think there might be a hotter November special if you buy by the end of November as opposed to the end of December. And for our customers out there, 10% off add-ons. So for all you GFI Max customers out there, a great opportunity to get yourself into Autotask and become a part of the Autotask community, where we have fantastic programs to help you build your business and get the most out of your Autotask product, user groups around the globe, reseller programs, referral programs, ways to help you generate revenue as well as help you run your business better, being a part of that Autotask community. So thanks for listening in. Actually, I always like to congratulate folks for listening in and taking time out of your busy work day to work on your business and not in it. Know how tough it is to find time, but again, congratulations for joining. And Scott, how are we doing out there?
Oh man, we got tons of questions. Probably not enough time from all of them, but we got a lot of good ones. So if everyone will bear with us, we got time for a few questions here. I thought this one was pretty interesting. This is from Daniel. He's saying that some of us service micro SMB under 100 seats and typically 5 to 25 seats. How can we justify the cost of this kind of automation and related SLAs?
Oh my gosh, I mean, again, it's always about understanding the needs, and the number one need you have to understand is if they like to access their computer systems, if they like accessing their technology infrastructure without it going down. And one of the things that I share in another session, not necessarily this one, but a couple of ROI type of tools, and I always say, go back in the past, what did it cost to get a server back up and running? And what I mean by cost is, not necessarily the cost of a part, because hopefully you had it under warranty, but How long was the business down? Was it down 6 hours or 8 hours? Are there 20 employees? What's the average hourly rate of those employees, and how many hours could they not access their computer system? And you might hear them say, well, they could have done something else. Well, how much do they not work on their computer these days? So again, try to tie some downtime, perhaps, to the investment they would make in your managed services. And you might see, and actually in the pricing session that I see Scott gave you guys a link, I go through and talk about a break-fix event that might get you sending out an invoice for $1,000 to get a desktop up and running, when in fact if you were delivering managed services with GFI Max and Autotask combined, perhaps that issue wouldn't have happened, right? Do you want them to pay $1,000, or do you want to fix one desktop, and you know that others are going to break down because if that one desktop got a virus, the other ones are vulnerable? Or do you want to prevent those problems from happening across the 20 user environment, and they're going to pay you less than $1,000 a month? So a lot of different ways to move them, and probably not enough time here to answer. That's a whole session. But definitely look to their needs and then try to tie the value of what you're going to deliver to those needs. And clearly it's access to their infrastructure, at least in my mind.
Okay, excellent. We've got one here from Arshad who's asking, do you think your service desk should be in-house or outsourced? And how do you maintain SLAs and consistency with outsourced service desks?
So certainly, that's a choice you make. I've seen folks right out of the gate decide to go to third-party service desk, and the key with those third-party service desks, they've done this before, so they're going to help explain to you how you hit your SLAs. And in fact, it's actually a pretty good question in that you can't really promise a 2-hour response unless you can deliver it. And if you're going to use a third-party vendor, you best have an agreement with that third-party vendor that they're going to provide a response in 2 hours, or they're going to give you a rebate, they're going to give you a price reduction, they're going to give you a free service. So if you're going to use a third party for any type of a service delivered to your client base, you've got to have that underpinning operational level type agreement that makes sure that third-party vendor is going to support what you're out there trying to sell to your clients. So vet out that third-party provider, and my recommendation again is always understand your own business capabilities. I can't say, oh, everybody outsources or everybody picks up the call themselves. Bottom line is, do you have the capability to pick up the call? And if you don't, well, then you got to outsource it, and maybe over time you'll sell so many service desk bundles that are delivered by a third party that you can take that revenue in-house and perhaps put 1 or 2 people at your own service desk. So, it's definitely a process, and understanding your capabilities versus, I guess is that buy versus build kind of an approach that you got to take. And I've certainly seen folks outsource it and then bring it in. I've seen people do it right out of the gate, picking up the call themselves. For me, I always like to pick up the call. To me, the first touch was real important, and typically those users calling in are going to share things with you. And while that third-party provider can certainly do that, you best have a real good relationship with them, because that user is going to share information in addition to the problem or incident that they're having, and you want to be apprised of that. So let's have them take good notes, and just kind of decide wisely how you do that.
Okay, excellent. We want to thank everyone for sticking along this far. I know we're about out of time here, Len, but there's a couple more. We've had a lot of people ask, so basically I know you've got the slide up there now. So if people wanted to try out Autotask, what would be their procedure? They'd drop you guys a line there?
Well, you can, the quicker you want to get response, I would say if you're thinking before November you want that special deal, shoot me an email and I will be sure to have someone get right back to you, or you can just send me an email, say you're interested, and I'll still get it to the right person. Hit our website, fill out one of our forms there, and but you see right there's a phone number, 518-720-3500 extension 1 if you want to hear a live voice. And actually on our website we've got a chat window. You can tell them Len sent you, and see that subject line right there. You can use that subject line in the email to sales, or use that subject line in the chat window available off our website, or in the email to me if you want that voucher offer. But multiple ways to get started with Autotask, and we'll definitely be waiting for you to get a hold of me.
Okay, excellent. Well, Ed, I thought this was a good one to end on here. Len, we're asking you to look into your crystal ball here. Richard is asking, he's saying, surely a lot of the need for these services will diminish as IT moves to the cloud. What he's thinking just at one point, won't we just be looking at after broadband and routers? I mean, what happens then?
Well, I mean, unless I'm trying to think of a movie. I guess it's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible when he doesn't have a screen or a mobile device. It's just kind of a screen in the air, some kind of a visual. I mean, there's always going to be a mobile device. There's always going to be some device. Again, until you don't need a device, but there's always going to be devices that are wirelessly connected to some infrastructure, to the cloud, and yeah, you're going to have to continue to evolve and adapt to whatever the environment is. I mean, we've got another session out there, how to build a hybrid service catalog, and we talk about how to add cloud services into the mix, and we talk a little bit about how you might want to manage and approach managing cloud stuff. We've got Autotask customers and GFI Mac customers that actually will realize if things are moving in the cloud, do it themselves, and they build out their own cloud and put their own virtual environment and support that. You still have to monitor, even if you're selling a cloud email box, you still want to monitor the number of messages, spam. You want to see if there's any viruses in there. You want to report on it. So as applications move into the cloud, you still have an infrastructure on site, maybe not quite the same infrastructure, but you still got applications that have to be managed. You have applications that need to be integrated and made to work together, and you got to find your spot, find your sweet spot, and go with it.
Okay, excellent. We had Aaron was pointing out that movie was actually Minority Report for anybody who was interested.
Yes.
Okay.
Minority Report. That's it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Len, and for being here. Any last words you'd like to say?
No, just go for it, guys. I'm hoping there's a bunch of GFI Max guys that realize Autotask can help, and if you don't have GFI but you have Autotask, combine your tools, get the right tools in place, and that's really the key. You put an automation out there into your client base so they could run their business better. Well, don't be that shoemaker without shoes. Go out, make sure you got the right tools in place to deliver the right service, and get yourself rolling with a service level management initiative and make it happen.
Okay, excellent. As I said, this webinar has been recorded. It will be on mspbusinessmanagement.com. Probably next week sometime. You'll get an email with the exact link where you can watch the presentation, download the slides, and also the MP3 will be on iTunes. You can download it that way as well. And I hope you join us in January. We're going to have MSP marketing strategies for 2013. Sorry, too much coffee. With Stuart Crawford, who's going to be here, so that'll be a good one. And then we're going to have Len and the Autotask folks back. We're thinking probably April sometime, but we'll let you guys know about that. I think that's about it from us over here in North Carolina. Len, up in New York, thank you very much for being with us.
Sounds good. Thanks for having us, Scott.
And one more thing, yeah, if I didn't get to your questions, I'm going to bundle all these up and send them over to the Autotask guys, so they'll be able to take a look through them, and they'll be able to answer your questions and steer you in the right direction. All right, everyone, that's it. Thank you very much for attending. We hope to see you next month, or actually in January next year. Have a great holiday, and goodbye, everyone. See you later.